guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be reacting to
Unpopular K-pop opinions because NewJeans lost an appeal in 10 minutes. So they lost? I guess that's the update. They lost? I don't know. Let's see.
I guess remember they had to come back to the court.
No. We know
And
it lasted 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It just was closed doors. There was no update, no nothing.
I think because remember the judge says come back with a valid reason more than what you came with the points before.
I remember everything, but they went in. It was closed doors and it was 10 minutes.
So they didn't offer anything
But
new,
I
I
guess they lost because we didn't know the outcome. It was like private. Let's see.
Her page and seen her pictures. I said, "Oh, jump
scare."
The hearing for NewJeans
I
appeal
like the
after
intro.
Hive won the injunction to stop them from doing activities without their approval ended in 10 minutes. Let that sink in. 10 minutes. It was a private session with only the legal representatives present, unlike the previous injunction last month, and I'm still waiting for the explosive evidence. Anything now? Hive's lawyers probably showed up.
Oh, she doesn't know anything. She's just addressing it. Doesn't mean they lost.
With a paperclip and a Walmart receipt and still won. As soon as the girls lost the injunction, they started acting against what the judge ordered. The judge barely finished his sentence before they performed as NJZ at ComplexCon, dropped merch, kept the NJZ socials alive and did interviews with Western media like the BBC. How in the chicken potato fries did they think they could win this appeal? They didn't even bother deleting their NJZ posts until like 2 weeks after the judge's ruling. And they raked in a mountain of cash from their merch. Cleaning up your socials doesn't erase the fact they were out here constantly flaunting their sale.
Ah, that's why they took so long to close the account. They wanted to sell out the merch that they had.
Twitter's basically a gallery of screenshots and receipts. 2. NewJeans isn't exposing industry truths. They're performing trauma burlesque for racist.
But why is she late talking about this? Happened like what, Wednesday? Why are we talking about this on Saturday? I honestly thought there was like some new updates or something.
Western media clowns who've been starving for a K-pop scandal since BTS dared to wear suits to the Grammys. BTS dragged K-pop into the Western stage despite the racist giggles. But now NewJeans? They're handing those same clout-chasing journos a scripted sob story wrapped in a fat bow, screaming K-pop's a dystopian jail. Film me crying into my Coke Zero like it's an Oscar audition. When your activism involves sprinting into the arms of outlets that called groups manufactured robots and fans hysterical tweens, you're not a whistleblower. You're a pick-me puppet auditioning for Squid Game, White Savior Edition. Oh, the dark side of K-pop narrative? Get a life. It's the same racist fanfic Western media's been sucking on since 2012. But now NewJeans is serving it on a silver platter with a side of please retweet. The irony? Groups like BTS, Twice, 17 and ATEEZ spent years dodging xenophobic banana jokes just to earn a sliver of respect. Meanwhile NewJeans is out here like forget dignity. Let's monetize the trauma. Hive's evil. K-pop's a sweatshop and here's my tearful rant. Congrats Hanny, you've upgraded from
so
idols
that's
to
interesting. The perspective is that they're embarrassing the culture, South Korea, and leaning towards like these narratives that they have towards Asia.
That's why a lot of people turned turned on them when they went to do that interview, because that interview we saw the video that some people were saying that it's anti-Korean because it kind of the way it puts K-pop in the light that it's like the contracts, which is true, like it is true, but at the same time I can see how Koreans think it's anti-Korean either, because it's like it's the same way like when we do these YouTube videos how Americans move to Europe and the whole video is talking shit about America. It's like the same thing as like anti-American basically, right? I mean it's not that big of a deal, but it is anti-American.
How I also see it is that the girls were able to benefit from the environment that they're now claiming that is toxic because it didn't do something maybe minor as, oh, we didn't get the recognition, we didn't get the photo shoot, well, we didn't get the deals. So it comes across of the girls, they're coming from a very privileged perspective, because from what I've seen, this group, they had plenty of funding, plenty of support. Yeah, of course, it doesn't mean that there wasn't any toxic situation going on, but they were in a better position than opposed to other smaller groups like Maiden, who actually went through like serious trauma within their organization, yet it was put under the rug and moved on,
xenophobia props. Those interviews with Time and the BBC? A nasty example in weaponizing Asian pain for white liberal clout. K-pop bad, capitalism evil. Now stream our unreleased trash song Pit Stop. And the fans? Oh, they're brave for speaking out. Cope is
I don't understand how they benefit from doing that interview, because were they expecting maybe a label from the West to say, oh, I feel bad for the girls, let me take on these girls and do a favor save them from this trauma?
They're trying to win in the court of public opinion. So
with who? Because
with international audience.
Yeah, but the court is taking place in South Korea.
Right,
What's that gonna do?
I guess the logic
South
is
Korea?
If you get enough international fans to kind of push the pressure high
to the courts,
pressure Hype to drop it. not the chorus. Pressure Hype, because essentially Hype could just let
Pressure
it go.
Hype.
Yeah, I think that's the
You
idea,
know, the
to
only
get
type of
to
pressure I
Hype.
can see that Hype can feel is, you know, if Army was to eat Hype with from within.
Well,
Okay,
maybe
New
that's part
Jeans
of
don't
it.
do not got that pull and push to do that kind of
Well,
commotion.
they don't, but they think they do. Because clearly, if they didn't think they did, they wouldn't have. We wouldn't be in this situation. They think they're bigger than they are. And that's why we're here today. They got into their heads. They think they're the shit when they're not. And that's why we're here. If they knew their place, if they knew what they are, they wouldn't have done this. Because this is not like your something egregious that, okay, this is cost, like as you said, Maiden, I don't know, some other groups where, you know, some shit went down Vicha, you know, they go like, oh, it's not shit like this. Like even Twice, we had scandals, not scandals, but like, you know, girls talking about not being able to eat, like starving or whatever. Here, we didn't even hear nothing about no eating, no, like what they have to eat. If anything, this group is not really about their bodies. I don't even know what they look like. They're always wearing baggy clothes. They could be fat for all I know.
Yeah.
So this is not even anything about that. It's just
Yeah.
they got too big and they think they're the shit when they're not. And they said, watch this. And Hype said, no, you watch this. And now it's like, you know, we're watching this.
Illiterate. Tell me you've never read a Chomsky book without telling me. Critiquing your own industry through a racist lens isn't accountability, it's self-colonization. Western media doesn't give a what about reform. They want K-pop kneeling in apology for daring to outsell their faves.
I think,
NewJeans
you
crying.
know, for them to feel confident to take it to the media, they would have to take it to the biggest South Korean media group.
They're not taking them.
Exactly. That's the problem.
Well,
That shows there's a problem.
No, that a lot of like media is afraid of Hype though. That doesn't, no, it doesn't mean
But
anything.
I
It
don't-
doesn't mean
to me-
NewJeans are in the wrong. It just means that Hype has a lot of power. That's why they're taking it internationally.
But taking it internationally, I don't see
I mean,
what's the angle.
I don't see it either, but they couldn't do nothing in Korea because nobody would take them. Because Hype has, nobody want to fuck with Hype, especially over something so trivial.
So who was hyping them up to pull them from Hype to think they can just start afresh?
Mini.
Hee-jin.
Yeah.
But like to start afresh with who, with what backing you
I
up?
don't
What's the
fucking
power
know.
that's backing you up?
They
That's-
just they listened to Minnie. Minnie said, "Let's go." They said, "Okay, mom. Okay, 6-member." That's it.
I like the nickname Minnie. It's
Minnie,
cute.
and it's not Minnie from G Idol either.
Oh. Ooh.
Exploitation to Rolling Stone is like inviting an arsonist to investigate a fire. Wow, look how flammable this is. Newsflash sis, the BBC isn't suddenly woke because they quoted your faves PR-trained tears. They're the same hacks who wouldn't hesitate to reduce BTS's artistry to fangirl hysteria or call Blackpink Kim Kardashian's backup dancers. But sure, let's trust them to fix K-pop because NewJeans served a sad girl aesthetic in a headline, accept it or not. Western media will always frame K-pop as problematic because respectability politics is a rigged game. You think SM's next Healthy Contracts press release will make CNN care about Moonbin or Sully? No, they don't hate K-pop because it's corrupt. They hate it because it's Korean. No amount of NewJeans playing 1984 cosplay will change that. And but they're people of color defense? Please. Using identity as a shield for feeding racist tropes is like selling your soul to Disney and calling it representation. The truth? Hybe's
The
laughing
thing
all the way
is-
to the bank.
The why K-pop gets so much criticism is the lack of original identity, because it seems like K-pop is just pulls from every other culture except within its own.
They have
in
identity.
which what's the identity?
Trot. They don't do it though because nobody gives a fuck.
I
over
don't know
here.
the identity. Trot. You keep saying Trot.
We
I
reacted to it like
we
once or
did?
twice. Yeah, it was different. You know, it was traditional.
Because
it's
imagine
cool.
this. Imagine this. Afrobeats got very popular. Now it's like influencing the West. Ooh, we want to take on
Okay,
some
but
Afrobeats.
Afrobeats got popular because of all the African American community here in the States, though.
Well, what? No.
Yeah,
Afrobeats come from Nigeria.
I understand. What is going on? But I'm saying like it's mostly African Americans listening to it.
No,
the
it's,
States. And-
no, it's people from the Caribbean
Ah,
because it sounds
okay.
similar to Caribbean music too
Okay,
as
but
well.
immigrants, black immigrants, and
Yeah.
just over here in the States, they're listening to that, and that through them, it kind of made through everyone. So for K-pop, it would have to be through Asian American, well, particularly Korean Americans, and they kind of push it outwards. So it would have to be the same thing. But it's not even Korean music. It's like that's not what they're doing, though. They're not trying to make a Korean music to appeal to Korean Americans to push it out. They're just taking global music, basically everything under the sun, and kind of fucking around
I
with
just
it.
want to see original thought. And that's where you can see, you know, people give more respect towards K-pop, I would see. in the future, because you know Latin America has its identity, American pop has its identity, British pop has its identity, Afrobeat, I'm a piano,
I would say K-pop's
Caribbean
identity is the
music.
training system. That's the identity.
Well, yeah, which
Music
is
doesn't have the identity, but the system is the identity. That's what I guess. That's the argument. What makes it K-pop is that you came up through the K-pop system. That you know the training system. That's what makes it K-pop. That's why you know when we see like Jungkook's Golden, for example, people will go say it's a K-pop album because it came through the system. Even though to me it's not a K-pop album, but the argument is because Jungkook came through the system. It's whatever. If you came up through the system, anything you do for the rest of your life is gonna be K-pop. That's the argument, which I disagree with, but that's the argument.
I can see their protection over it because they don't want other countries to take Jungkook, a very very talented artist. But then again,
But if he wants to switch up and take another country,
but
that's his prerogative.
but then again, they also have to understand that other cultures feel that way about their music. So that's why K-pop is always going to have this criticism of original thought. Because the same way they're protective and say no, Jungkook he came under the K-pop system is the same way that pop from America, pop from Britain, rap from America, and from where it came from, how it developed, people protect that. It's
I-
just like there's a hypocrisy.
I guess you could make an argument that K-pop is what it makes it different. Is they basically takes from everywhere in the world and kind of just blends it together, like as a blend. Like you throw a bunch of genres in the blender and press the button, and that's K-pop. So if that's you can make an argument that's K-pop, because in the West we don't really do that. We don't take 5 genres, put it together in one, and with 25 beat switches in the song. You don't really see that. Like if you hear a beat switch, you'll be like, oh shit, a beat switch. Here in K-pop, there's 3, 4, 5 beat switches in
But
the
the
song.
thing is, the issue is that yeah, they can blend it, but they also have to say where it comes from, and that's the issue. They pretend that it doesn't come from anywhere. That's them.
I don't think they pretend. What do you mean? Like they pretend? They don't. So what would you like them to do? Like put in every video description. Oh, we took this from hip hop.
No, the point is that when they give the group the accolades,
Yeah.
it's really the producers, the team behind them. It's not
Yeah, of
really the
course.
front people.
But the same in the West though. It's the producers, it's the people behind the scenes that make it. In certain artists, yes, they write
they
their own
do-
stuff, they produce, that's great. But a lot of artists, they just faces.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not to throw anyone under the bus, but like Tate McRae, for example. She's the dancer, singer. That's it. I don't really think she writes her own music.
It's just hearing the thought process. You hear them talk about more of a team and how they came up with this music, when only a few groups from K-pop can say, okay, yeah, we work with a team, this was the inspiration, and they talk about it, about like how was the process. But for other groups, it seemed as though they presented as if they were the ones to
I
lead the cause.
Yeah, I think they're like just can't say because of the label, they're afraid or whatever. Because yeah, like the big groups, like BTS, Stray Kids, they produce their own stuff. They're
Especially
cool.
especially when you touch on rap. Like if they touch on rap, what makes rap is you write your own stuff. Because there's a big difference writing your own stuff and not writing your stuff.
And
And if
rap,
you have
to
writers,
write your own
and if you
stuff,
have
yeah.
writers, you can't act like you're a rapper.
you
You have to
can't,
let everyone know,
yes.
okay, no, I'm just like
That
the face.
when it comes to rap and K-pop, that's definitely misses
And that
the
happens a
bar.
lot
Yeah, it
because they
does.
rap a lot, and it's
They
like
rap a lot and they don't even know what they're rapping about because they're rapping about nothing. Yes.
Bank. NewJeans Rebellion is a PR sideshow, and Western media's eating it up like it's mukbang. Every tearful interview, every controversial quote just fuels the K-pop equals factory farm narrative they've fetishized for decades. Meanwhile, labels bury abuse lawsuits in NDAs and ditties out here existing. But sure, let's hyper-focus on K-pop's evil because racism's the real search engine optimization hack. 3. Hee-jin's SM days are the reason her plan flopped. SM doesn't
So the whole video is about like NewJeans? Come
play
on.
lawsuits, they play the purge. Remember TVXQ? Exactly. If NewJeans had breathed a whisper of rebellion under SM's roof, Lee Soo-man's lawyers would have yeeted them into the Mariana Trench of NDAs by sunrise. Hee-jin knew this, she lived it. But her fatal flaw? Thinking Hybe is an SM clone. This busted woman really said, let me weaponize my SM trauma to guilt-trip Hybe into a messy public tantrum, which is bold. Too bad Hybe's Banksy Hyuk looked at her press conference manipulation bingo card and passed. While Hee-jin scrambled to paint Illit as Satan's backup dancers, Hybe sat back, sipping tea, and let her dig her own grave with a rusty spoon. Every lie exposed headline? That's not luck, it's strategic inertia. She thought Hybe would pull an SM and silence her with threats. Instead, they handed her the rope and let NewJeans do the rest. 4. Min Hee-jin's vendetta against Les Seraphim isn't about who debuted when. It's about her needing a perpetual villain arc to fuel her martyr complex. Les Seraphim debuted first, Illit copied us. Sis could have debuted NewJeans in the Mesozoic era and
This
she'd
seems to
still be
be
screeching.
where I feel like a lot of this beef starts from. Like this, who was here first? Because it's important to have that title, first girl group of Hype,
Right.
the first lady of Hype, and who is it?
Yeah, no, you're right. I just don't know why we're talking about this. Is all has been discussed, and there's no new updates, no nothing. I'm
Yeah.
confused.
About T-Rexes plagiarizing their aesthetic. Min Hee-jin doesn't hate Les Seraphim for existing first. She hates them for existing. Period. If they debuted after NewJeans, the narrative would have flipped faster than a celebrity. Breakup headline. Hybe sabotaged us by holding back our debut for these flops. Cue the PowerPoint slides comparing dinosaur bones to NewJeans never seen before vegan vegetarian organic denim skirts. And Illit? Please, if they'd rolled out with a concept of gothic vampire widows from Planet Alpha, Min Hee-jin's legal team would have sued them for stealing NewJeans' aura via aggressive eye contact. Your bangs are 0.3 centimeters shorter? Plagiarism. The allegations were never about the concept. They're about Min Hee-jin's desperation to play CEO victim bingo. Illit breathes oxygen? Your honor. This pie chart proves Illit's hair ribbons are psychologically
The
identical
thing
to Hanny's
is
childhood
that
ponytail.
I can see like Le Seraphim being debuted before NewJeans solely on the fact that it's under Bang Sook. Of course, he wants to go first to debut the first girl group. Why would he want to go second?
They're separate labels. They're competing labels. I mean,
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it's Bang who's the top guy. Like,
right. Yeah, I mean, it is competition. People have their egos. It's I don't know. It's just
it's just what entitles her to have the first girl group.
overall, there's a lot of
Hype,
entitlement
like-
going on in NewJeans clique. The girls, the Min Hee-jin.
I would
just,
understand. I would understand this attitude if it was someone with less seniority than her. But she's new. Adora is new.
She's not new. She's been in SM for a minute, so she
no,
feels like
but
she's the
in
shit.
but
Oh.
coming into high.
Yeah,
like,
okay,
you're
so she's new and high, but in her mind,
But you're
she's
still new.
she's been in the game for decades, so
Okay.
she's like, I'm the shit. That's it. And Bang Si-hook at that time, he hasn't even been in the game for a decade, I think. No,
Yeah,
maybe
but
he
he still
has.
accomplished a
The
lot.
Hybe was from like mid 2000, so I guess he
Oh,
has
so I
been over a
guess
decade.
she expects him to bow down to her.
I think that's that's what she expected. You know, she has a big ego.
The court's face? Priceless. 5. First and second gen idols didn't just walk through scandals, they built empires on them. Y'all out here fainting over 5th gen's bullying and dating rumors like it's the apocalypse? Babes, those were the warm-up acts for the literal Mad Max meets Gossip Girl dystopia that was early K-pop. When your problematic scale tops out at an idol got a DUI or Woo Young shaded Jenny on a live stream, you're playing Candy Crush in a world where the OG idols were surviving Squid Game in real life. First gen didn't have scandals, they had crimes. We're talking idols getting kidnapped by fans and held for ransom. CEOs bribing prostitutes.
We saw this in the fun facts in Tajikistan or somewhere. The president's daughter got the group kidnapped.
Yeah.
With
Fucking
literal
crazy.
That was
briefcases of cash
wild.
and groups, disbanding because members were literally in jail, not over contract disputes, but assault charges. The Burning Sun scandal? That was a true crime documentary starring your faves, complete with horrific allegations, police collusion, and a VIP room darker than Min Hee-jin's soul. And the fans? Oh please. Today's Saesiangs are just TikTok stalkers with AirTags. Back then, Saesiangs were writing
Oh.
letters in period blood, slashing idols' tires, and hiring
saw
private
that too.
jet
That's
stock tours.
disgusting.
You
I didn't want
She
to remember
must
that.
have watched that video.
think
I
straight
didn't
kid
want to
stan drama
remember
is
that.
messy? Try rival fans fist-fighting at music shows with security begging them not to literally burn down the venue. The racism? Second-gen idols dropped slurs like confetti at a 2009 Mama Awards afterparty. And the apology was a 10-second bow on Music Core before the next lip-sync performance. And let's not even talk about the bullying. None of this anonymous forum posts nonsense. We're talking TV interviews where idols openly roasted members' weight, plastic surgery fails, and dating rumors like they were hosting SNL Korea. The cheating scandals? Second gen didn't date. They had entire secret families. Imagine your bias casually mentioning their girlfriend during a live stream after a decade of denial. Or how about idols getting caught mid-scandal with tape recorders in hotel rooms? No iPhones, just pure unedited chaos leaked to dispatch via fax machine. 6.
The
Many
whole
reports are
K-pop world
predicting
is
Blackpink's
just
album to
too
be dropped.
much. Yeah, it's too much in the K-pop world. Too much
Yeah,
drama.
but I mean, there's so much in the West too, though. You know,
Yeah.
if you like, we really go to like TMZ, you'll see a lot of shit going down. You know, so we're kind of just tuned into like the TMZ of Korea. So it's, you know, it's the same thing.
in June. Let's not kid ourselves. Blackpink's comeback is nothing but YG's desperate GoFundMe disguised as a reunion. June, May. At this point, their schedule's as fictional as Jennie's acting career. Reports say they're recording songs and shooting MVs now. I'm saving my money. You think they're crafting the album 2.0? Nah.
Skip this. Who gives a fuck? XG's in the rain. Yeah.
Relax. 7. Let's review XG's in the Rain since they've dropped an MV for it. This track is R&B stripped to its coolest essentials, a slinky bassline, jazzy guitar licks, and 808s that thump like a heartbeat. all mixed so clean you could lick the plate. XG trades their usual bombast for control versus simmer with breathy, rhythmic vocals that lock into the groove, while the chorus blooms into harmonies so tight they sound vacuum-sealed. The rap parts? A smoky half-sung flex that bridges hip-hop swagger with R&B silk without breaking a sweat. Truly shout out to the producers, even the minimalist MV nails it. Umbrella choreo hits like
There you
punctuation
go.
marks.
Thank you.
Every step
Shout
It's
out
a
to the
10 out of 10,
producers.
guys. Check out our reaction. We loved
synced
it.
to the beat's drip drip rhythm. No overcrowding,
They have a
no
good
glitching
team.
AI. Just a masterclass in less is more. 9 out of 10.
I don't know if they have a good team because the last two drops I didn't like.
But
so-
whoever worked on this drop, it was a good team.
Yes, whoever did this was good. Yeah.
Guys, of course, let us know your thoughts. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Join the Discord. And as always, share as much kindness as possible.